Look at this. I got headphones on. I got a mic going. Baby.
If
Huh?
only people could see you now.
Hey, no video. We've gone through this before.
All right,
No
all right,
video.
all right. Welcome to This Commerce Life. This is a podcast aimed at small, medium entrepreneurs focused on commerce. I'm Phil, your host, and Kenny, your co-host, will join us as well. And we're going to talk to you about the world of retail and commerce and how things are changing in the world. How are you?
Good. It's funny. I was thinking, it's like, how is this going to work? But I don't, because I don't have the fancy headgear you guys have.
No, that's okay. It makes us look fancy. That's all.
Oh, you've even got the little filter on the microphone.
Oh, I do. Yeah.
Spitting and stuff like that.
Yeah. It keeps it from that hissing noise, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So nice to finally meet you.
I know. It's so nice to meet you. How are you?
Good. Keeping busy. Just if you hear a dog barking.
Okay. That's okay. Dogs are welcome on the show.
Okay. It's funny. Every time you talk about the muntlucks, I thought, you can't really use them in Vancouver. But then, of course, we've had all the snow.
But you can.
The salt has been huge here.
Yeah. And they have a mud version too, like for rainy days. So,
yeah. It's funny. I just wonder if you wouldn't keep pulling them off, and that's what I keep wondering.
Yeah, they do. They got to learn to keep them on, otherwise it doesn't work.
Hey, Kenny.
Hey,
Kenny.
Yeah, I had troubles because I haven't used this. I haven't done anything on this MacBook, so it took me to figure out how to do anything.
Gotcha.
Because the MacBook is intuitive.
Yeah,
it's supposed to just happen.
Yes, of course. Of course it is.
Bullshit.
You're in Edmonton. Different hotel room tonight.
I am, yes, in Edmonton.
A little cold there, I bet.
It is freezing up here. I don't know how people do it.
There's like minus 39 wind chill.
It was minus 30. It was. It's ridiculous. It's minus. I think tonight's supposed to go to minus 31 or 32, and then you tack on it'll be over minus 40. I guess it's fargan cold.
Like my freezer's not even that cold. That's just stupid. I used to go to Winnipeg all the time in Montreal. We'd always have our meetings early January in Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where you have to stay an extra couple of days getting snowed in and
But Winnipeg was the worst. You'd step outside and you catch that bit of cold ice air.
Yeah.
It's just cold. It's just cold.
Freaking cold. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just cold. But it's not bad, what the hell, right? At least, you know what? There's sun. What's it like right now? I haven't talked to Amelia tonight yet.
It's supposed to drop down quite cool tonight, so we're going to start getting the frost on the slush. The snow stopped, but it's supposed to start again tomorrow, rush hour, that kind of stuff. But it's been glorious driving home. They closed the school's big snow alert on Monday, so Surrey, the largest school district, was closed, so nobody was coming over the bridge, so no one was on the highway. So this is fantastic. I'm getting home in 20 minutes. This is fantastic. And then on Tuesday they shut the whole world down.
Yeah.
Oh, and for no reason. I breezed into work in 15, 20 minutes, came home even quicker, and it was just
So that's probably the reason why, is because they shut it down. I was telling them here, I was in the cab on the way to the airport. It's 4:45 Tuesday morning, and it's snowing, and it's been snowing all night.
Yeah.
And the roads in Vancouver were shit. That's the only way to describe. They were just shit.
Yeah.
Not a plow from East Van to the airport. Nothing.
Wow.
Nothing. And every road, Marine Drive, 41st, Victoria Night, everything is covered in snow.
Yeah.
Not a truck in sight.
See, I live in New West, so New West is very small. You can walk across it in half an hour. And it's not far from East Van, but we have our guy named Fred with a shovel, and we got one truck. And so we're plowed, we're salted, we're done. We were plowed and salted on the side street, within 2 hours of the snow falling.
Wow.
On a side street.
Yeah.
I've been in East Vancouver for 27 years. I have never, and I shit you not, ever seen a snowplow on our side streets.
No, hell no.
Ever.
Yeah.
Never.
We plow our own. There's a 3 group of guys here, me included, that have snow blowers. And so every snowstorm we go out and plow our own side streets because we just, someday they'll come by, right? Like someday they'll come by, but we just don't know when, right?
Yeah,
So
ours is a Vancouverish. I'll tell you why, Linda.
Yeah.
I was talking to Amelia last night because I was giving her shit when I was going to the airport because I know her, stubborn as a mule. And I thought she's going to drive. Like her car, all seasons are all season like. Carly steals my car. My all seasons are summers. Like there's no all season left in them. They are summer tires, right? She found out as she apparently went through 3 intersections.
holy crap.
I know, honestly, thick as a brick. But anyway, Amelia's going. She was either going to work in the morning or coming home at night. Boundary Road. So Boundary is a division between East Van and Burnaby. And there's a boulevard down the middle.
Yeah.
On the left side, as you're going southbound, is Burnaby, completely cleared and plowed. The Vancouver side, nary did they see a snow truck. Not even touched.
Steep. That's a steep hill.
Yeah, but one side,
Yeah.
the Burnaby side's clear. The Vancouver side is not.
Wow.
What a shit show.
Yeah.
God, I love my city.
That's how it works.
Anyway, I'm up here now. It's just ice.
Yeah,
Like,
but they're
there-
prepared
it's
for it.
4 inches of ice on the road. That's all. That's not compact snow. It's ice.
But they're good for it. They know how to deal with it.
No, they have winter tires and they just don't go too fast.
We don't. I have to laugh when I see some people with their snow blowers. I'm thinking, you bought a snow blower
For Vancouver?
for Vancouver? Who saw you coming? And then you go, shit. I wish I had one of those.
Exactly.
But I think one of the reasons why our street gets plowed is a few years back, Mrs. DeMarschi, the old Italian lady at the end of the street, she lived on a corner, a very large property, and she had to have eye drops all the time. So her kids would come by and stuff like that. So she called up the mayor and said, you get me a snow plow down here so my kids can come put eye drops in my eyes.
Oh my gosh.
Unfortunately, she passed away, but I used to go and shovel. I was thankful. I was talking to the people who bought her house this year, and I had to thank them. I said, "Thank God you're here," because I always just break my back shoveling her walk.
Yeah.
Every freaking time it would snow, and she's it was just like, "Thank you. You can do your own." Yeah,
Yeah, no.
the goodness stops now.
All good in the hood, baby. All good in the hood.
Man. Oh
All good
man.
in the hood.
So podcast audience, we have our favorite guest on the show today.
You didn't mention me last podcast.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Go back
No?
and listen. There's not a podcast.
I'm sure you're
Freaking months.
this podcast
Serious.
is sponsored and and hosted.
We don't even mention
It's sponsored
ourselves.
and hosted by Linda Webb, and Kenny and Phil are guesting on the show today. So.
I have to say, okay, so I had to, for work, do some kind of course for self-improvement or whatever, how you improve on this, I don't know, but
Okay.
I had to take a course, and I want to take intro to social media because I'm a dinosaur, and I don't Twitter well, I don't Instagram well, nothing. I just, I don't even do Facebook much anymore. And so I took this course, and what is the point? Because everything they're talking about, you guys have covered. And I thought that was phenomenal. I thought, here I spent $250 to listen to these people dryly explain these things.
Yeah.
When I could just be listening to you guys.
Oh.
Because they were talking, I was writing this down, I thought, I've heard this term before. I've heard all this stuff before. What is it? The persona and, getting the content and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I know more than I actually thought. So
Exactly.
thank you.
And it was
Hopefully
free.
Yay,
it was free.
Yes.
It was free.
I
The
know.
best price in the world.
I love it. That's
Although if
so
anybody
good.
feels like sending a check to us for $250, we'd be more than happy to cash it. Right now,
There
it's
you
free.
have it.
But
Linda
you don't give
just
a certificate.
told you,
Listen, for
For
$250,
$250,
you get 2 certificates,
Yeah.
one from each of us.
Yeah. I'll even draw it by hand if you want me to.
Exactly. I can find a seal or a stamp, or there's lots of shit in the house. Don't worry. You can have certificates till the cows come home.
Who's that?
This is my dog Wally.
Wally?
My face.
Is he a schnauzer?
He's a standard schnauzer. That's why he's so big.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
The minis are only 15 pounds. He's about 55 pounds.
Okay.
And the giants are about 100 pounds.
So dogs love our podcast, right? Because last time we had Kelly Eisen on from Einstein Pets, and her little she has a little terrier. She has a Westie.
Oh, okay.
And, it just wouldn't leave us alone, right? She just had to be in the. Do you remember that? Yeah, she had to hang out in the call, and but yeah, that's pretty.
No, my dog's indifferent. He just ran away. So.
Got airtime. It's all good in the hood.
Yeah.
God mentions the star. I mean, come on, what the hell do you want?
I know. Linda Webb, we know some things about you. Do you want to tell us? You could tell us how you came to sponsor the show, maybe. Or...
How did you start your own podcast, Linda?
Yeah.
Two other people to do it for you.
How did you get these two idiots to start hosting the podcast
on your podcast? Like, how did you do that?
You'd be surprised.
And you've done shit for this podcast. First time in 55 episodes, you finally showed up to your own podcast.
I listened. Hey, somebody listened.
So you're checking on the guys doing your podcast. Now you finally decided to participate.
I passed along I kept on, just like there's certain episodes too. There's some really prime episodes that you guys actually did. I can't remember episode numbers, but they were really key for some of the clients because I see, okay, let me start backwards. I work for a contract manufacturing facility. We manufacture liquids, ointments, creams. So we do things like topical analgesics, things like Lakota. We do a lot of professional hair care products, skin care products. We do a lot of personal lubricants.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with
that. I don't know what we do.
I know a whole lot about lube. I used to work on that side of the business. So like,
I bought the category for years.
Yeah, so we could here. You want to go lube, we can go that route. But
water-based, we're all good, man.
Yeah. So we do all kinds of stuff like that. We have an R&D facility. We have some chemical engineers who know how to take a product from conception to reality, and they basically whip stuff up and make magic from stuff. Sometimes people bring stuff, I want it to be exactly like this, and then we'll do that. Or some people actually come to us with existing working formulas. We get a lot of people, like Patrice is a really good example. Patrice basically was making this stuff in her kitchen to start with in a crock pot. And so when she came to me, we started talking about how she was making it. And so we had to translate how you simulate a crock pot situation to big, 500 kg tanks with heated vessels and beaters and stuff like that. So, and sometimes it works, but sometimes, when you get these people whipping up stuff in their kitchen, it doesn't necessarily always work. You'd be surprised how many people have just made these things with, no preservatives, or they start separating after a while. And these are things that we kind of see and trying to correct to make them a better product. Some people come to us with existing products that have been on the market for ages, and they just either their contract manufacturer has disappointed them, which is 9 times out of 10 the case, or they have either gone bankrupt, or they have just basically said, you're too small for us now, or you're too big for us. So we're a middle-sized company. We're certainly not a large manufacturing facility, but we're very busy. The business is basically, I joined there about 5 years ago, and it's probably quadrupled since I got there.
Wow.
And and here's the good part. I have not gone out and got any business. Not once. I have never done a trade show. Not once. Everybody, either by word of mouth or by Googling. Our website's, it's okay. It's certainly not going to drive people to us, but that's it. They've all come to me. They've all called and said, "Oh, you're Linda Webb." Not, "Oh, you're Linda Webb." It's "Oh, you're Linda Webb." That's what I get all the time.
Oh.
And that's what we do. So when we finally come up with a formulation, then we check and see how much it costs to make. then we kind of start that process, and then we take the purchase order, we make it, bada boom, bada bing. You got product.
Wow.
Easy as that.
That's
Yeah, it all
pretty
sounds
cool.
easy, right?
It's not. It's a year-long process, and this is the part that kills me. People will come and say, well, I want to do this, and you tell them it takes 3 months to develop it. It takes 3 months to test it and make sure it's actually stable and it's not going to fall apart and it's not going to turn different colors. And then 3 months later, you're still working on ordering your packaging and your labeling and all that kind of stuff. And then you finally got some money to put your purchase order in, pay 50% deposit, and then people don't realize it's anywhere $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 to launch a product, one SKU. They don't get it.
like just to manufacture it.
From me starting and making a formula to you walking home with a pallet full of product.
Wow.
And it's not just me, because the cost of the R&D.
Yeah.
Then you have to talk to someone who does regulatory affairs to make sure your label's compliant with Health Canada. If you're NHP, then that's a whole other mess altogether.
Yeah.
You need to have someone make sure that we check and make sure that your product doesn't have doesn't grow things. That's what preservatives do. They make things not grow in your formula. And then your packaging. You're going to have to pay for all your packaging up front. You're going to have to pay your graphics person up front. You're going to have to pay for your labels up front. Me, you get to pay 50% on PO and then 50% when you pick it up. But other than that, it's people kind of simplify it and think, can we have something in 2 months' time? It's like,
just chuck it in a jar. It'll be fine, right?
No, it doesn't
That's
happen.
the biggest challenge you have with people, or what people find is, so they come in and just really have no clue as to what the process is or is not. That's sort of So how do you manage that though? How do you walk people? Because I deal with some of the people that you're talking about, and a lot of it, like Patrice has got a wicked product. Phil uses it.
Yeah,
I do. I love it.
Traction, but I can imagine, because just knowing Patrice, Patrice is an awesome person and super bright, but she didn't come from that world.
No,
why would she know?
No, and most people don't. And so this is where I walk through the whole process and basically give the same spiel every time, pretty much as I just walked it through. And people don't seem to realize that this is a reasonably lengthy process, and you are making an investment, and you need to say, we've talked to people too where they're going, okay, we're going to launch it in October. It's like, no.
Not of 19.
12 months just to it takes 12 weeks minimum just to get your packaging, and God help you if you get caught in Chinese New Year's, because they're tacked on another month. We're in that right now. Everybody's waiting for the packaging, and then the crane at the port broke, and then that shut down the port for 3 weeks. All our stuff is sitting in containers there, and so it's the same thing. So there's all these things that they forget to plan. Well, I got a friend. Yeah, well, we all got friends. I know people at London Drugs. I know people at pharmacies. Yeah, but do you have money to pay them to get your product in there?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that part. And that's because I see so many people, I get probably 20, maybe 25 inquiries a week.
Wow.
And then everybody I've actually had to start booking my meetings a month out in advance because I just can't see everybody.
So on those 25 though, what are you closing then in a week? Like of the 25, because they as far as they're concerned, they're all going to production. Tomorrow morning, Linda, my woman, she's on it. Look out, babe. Here we go. So 25 people come, because I want to give perspective so people understand, what this game's about. So 25 people come, and how many go to fruition? Like how many finish it?
Maybe one.
Yeah, 4%.
Yeah. And it's hard too, because and you don't like to do it, but you try and scare them off at first just because they don't understand the reality of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not me trying to be mean or trying to just get rid of you. I will give everybody the time of day. I was talking today to someone from a company that does products for dreadlocks. And I talked to him about a year ago, and I just remember the fact that it was dreadlocks because I was just so fascinated that it's
Like dreadlocks, the hair
Like
dreadlocks.
hair dreadlocks.
So, and we were just
Okay.
kind of chit-chatting about the product itself. And then a year later, he calls back and he starts asking me kind of the same questions. I would imagine. I can't quite remember what we talked about last time. And they all start melding into one. And so we started talking. And then basically 2 minutes into the conversation, I said, I have too high a requirement for you. You can't do 2,000 units minimum. Oh, but can't you just make 300-400 units? Like, I can't even turn the lights on for 300 units. It's not even worth me showing up. I said, there's documentation fees, there's setup fees, there's blah, blah, blah. And they seem to think, well, if I can just make a few, and it's like, but I'll charge you an arm and a leg. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to break you before you even launch a product.
Exactly. Unless what you're going to do is you're going to launch at a fake price. It costs you $12 to make it.
Yeah.
It might cost you in a year $6. So you go out at a $6 loss.
Yeah.
Now, if you're willing to do that, I guess there's ways to do it. But even then, you're not going to turn the machine on for 400 or 500 pieces. You can't do it.
No, and it's really, and it also...
It's frustrating though, right? You're small. How do you manage that? Like, it's hard for small people. They don't get it.
There's a
You're the
couple
bearer
of
of bad news.
Well, there's a couple of smaller manufacturers that I do know that are local. And so and some of them I trust more than others, but some of them are more available than others and some have better expertise. So I have one company that's close by in Venables so that he has a very small kettle. And so I know that he'll do 20, 30 kilos of product, whereas I won't, period.
Right.
Yeah. But he, so I'm glad to pass him along. And then when I said, when you get big, then you can come back to me because we work together so that, if I have small stuff, I send it to him. If he's got big stuff, he sends it to me. I've got equipment to fill tubes and sachets and all kinds of stuff, whereas he doesn't. And so, you just kind of got to pick and choose. I'm like you guys where I'll probably spend half an hour talking to some of these people when I know it's not worth my time, but I want to help them. I want to make sure that they go on. And then there comes the point where I've said enough and I've said all I can. And I say, why don't you go see Kenny? Kenny will help.
Sure. You've just burned an hour of my time. Go burn an hour of his. He's just as silly as me and he'll talk.
That's amazing.
Gotta share the love. But that's kind of what it boils down to. And people, they seem to forget about things like Health Canada. I mean, obviously one of the big ones we're getting these days is you make stuff with CBD, and it's like, no, it's not legal yet. And we're not going to jeopardize our license with Health Canada to feed a very growing market, but it's not worth my interest to do that. So, so it's really been fun. I mean, I came from, big pharma. I came from pharma science back in the day, and it was kind of cool because they just said, "Here, go sell some laxative," and off you go and you sell some laxative, and woohoo, sexy stuff, And now I'm selling lubes.
I feel like we all come from the same background. Yeah,
you mentioned what was her name now? Shelley. No, what was her name? She has a Japanese last name, and I can't remember her name now. All of a sudden,
Lynn Shiseido.
Yeah. Okay, so I know her.
Yeah.
Of course, I can't remember her name, but I know her. She doesn't live too far away from me, actually.
Yeah.
And I actually interviewed with her for a job.
That's funny.
See?
It's very
Small
funny.
world, man.
It's very funny.
Small world.
Oh my gosh.
Which is why you go out and do, kind of, and this is why we tease you a lot on the show, right? But there's a reality to the reason the reason I've always liked you, and I'm a lot of it's mutual with all of us, is that you take the time to sort of help.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Small business, small entrepreneurs really have a tough time if nobody gives them straight goods.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They need to hear the truth. It's not 2 days to do something.
And that's it. And I tell them all the time, I said, I got to be brutally honest. First, he's like, where are you selling this? There's one client that, Kenny, you've spoken to already, and they, I can foresee the struggle with what they're going to go through.
Yep.
But they have faith in their product, but I can guarantee you, I won't see them in 2 years' time. And it's it makes me feel bad for them because I want everyone to succeed. I don't want to take your money. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. But more importantly, I want you to understand that this is what you're going to have to do. The bulk of people have never heard of listing fees. The bulk of people have never heard of Health Canada cosmetic notifications, anything along that line.
Yeah.
You even have to put special things on my labels. Like,
Yeah.
where do I get a UPC code from?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. What's a GS1? What's a ECC? Yeah. What's Inky?
Yeah. And it does. It gets very hard. And like I said, there's some people, you can see their persistence, and they'll come back and they'll come back, and you can see that they're the ones that are going to succeed, and they have the money and they understand how it's going to work, and that they're not going to make money the first year. I don't care what you do. You're not going to make money. Not the first year.
Yeah.
But if you have a product line, or if you have a dream, and if you work hard, and if you know your market, and you got to do your homework, and that's probably the biggest thing. You got to do your homework, and you got to talk to people, and that's why you guys are so beneficial. Where it's you're walking them through these processes that I've kind of touched on, but I don't have the time to go deeper into. I'm going from my past experience and calling on these banners and stuff like that, like a value and pharmacy and so forth.
But I think you're, if you're listening to this, I mean, what Linda's doing is so key, right? Like, so when you do run into what you feel like is a roadblock along the way, you really gotta, I think Linda, you're taking into stride something that it's difficult to deliver, right? Because the regular business would go, hey, you know what? I can't do it. Go away. Or, yeah, I'll do it, but I'm going to charge you a ton of cash, right? Which I've seen before as well, right? Where you go, I made this prototype, but it was so expensive. You're like, yeah, it's because they never should have made you 5. Like, it's just how it's
exactly. Actually, they probably should have told you not make none.
Yeah.
Not a service, like a real service to you. They would have told you not to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think, when you get someone like Linda, who's kind of qualifying these things for you, you really got to, the minute it sounds like a checklist, you should just write them all down, go away and do the work, right? Because it really does.
Well, it'll save you the time, it'll save you the money, and it'll save you failures. And it's okay, and we've talked about this, sort of ad nauseum in the show. It's okay to fail.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess there's no problem failing, but try not to fail on the stuff that you didn't have to fail on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like sitting down and asking the questions, or learning from an expert like you in this particular field, or if you pass them on to whether it's me or Phil or whomever, like for the most part, a lot of this is really and truly free advice.
Yeah.
But it's solid advice. We're not doing this for any other reason. Is that, we all want you to succeed.
Yeah.
Don't fail for silliness.
I have my list of various suppliers. I'm not endorsing anybody, but I have my list of various suppliers, people that will do regulatory affairs, people that will do French translation, all that kind of stuff. It's just names I've collected over the years. And it's even if I'm not doing business with you, I'm just saying, here, take a look at this. Do your packaging first. That's probably the most important thing, is get your packaging organized, get your understanding of what you're going to look like. Because that's going to take you the longest part. I can whip up. The royal we. I can whip up stuff easy, but you're going to You're going to go back and forth. You're going to change your mind. You're going to do this. Picking a product is easy.
Yeah,
I think you market, because you can understand what your marketing is and what it's going to look like on the shelf. And I often get people say, "I have a SKU. I want to launch a product, and it's going to be this size." Well, I can tell you right now, no store is going to take one single SKU. Why would they? You're going to be lost in the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
So, either you make some extraordinarily outstanding packaging, or you do, I don't know, some kind of massive marketing campaign.
Yeah.
Whatever, but
but who's got the money for that? When these people, they don't have that.
No,
they don't.
So think it through. You might have to launch 3 SKUs. Do you want to launch 3? Does the market even want 3?
Yeah.
Does the market even want just the 1?
Is there even a reason to have 3, right? Like,
is there a reason to have 1?
Yeah.
Like sometimes that's the difference of talking. I mean, there are a lot of manufacturers, and there's a lot of consultants. There's a lot of people in general that will just take the job because the money's there. They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Right? They'll charge you for the time. If you want to make it, they'll make it for you.
Yeah.
Well, why do you want to deal with people like that? Well, why not try to find, people that are looking? Yeah, I don't. Why would I want you to fail? Like, there's no win in it for me. I'm not going to sleep any better.
Yeah.
No, and to me, it's just like, if I was doing this, this is how I want someone to treat me.
Absolutely.
And be
Absolutely.
frank and honest. When your friend from New Zealand with the Newfoundland.
Yeah. Newfoundlands,
that's the one.
Yeah.
And so when we were talking, we had great conversations and whatnot. But we thought, okay, this is doable. And we brought the product in, and unfortunately, it had such an aroma,
right,
that it affects my other products.
Yeah.
And
Oh, really?
I can't control it.
Wow.
But I've got friends at GFR, and I know that they have a really good liquid facility and that they could possibly do it. And so when I talked to the VP over there, or the president, I guess, and he said, sure, but let's bring it on. So there's a good community of us in manufacturing. I've got people that do tablets and caplets and all those kinds of things, the liquid nutritionals, and I have no problem saying so-and-so, can you help these people? And if you can't, then say no. Yeah. Nothing pisses me off more than someone saying, yeah, no, send them over, and then they piss around with them, and I don't like that. I don't do it.
So you don't. It's all the pay it forward stuff.
Yeah.
Do what you would do. Do what you expect to be done to you.
Yeah.
Like, don't waste my time. I mean, that's why I think it's such a great idea. That's why, like, when Phil and I even started doing this, and now obviously we've dragged you into our world and a whole bunch of other people.
Mm-hmm.
It was more to do just that. Is say, listen, we've done relatively well in life, and we've had people help us through some of this stuff. What's it really cost us to do this? I'm in a hotel room. You're at home. You're both at home. So what? So you waste an hour. It's just such poor choice of words. It doesn't cost anything per se.
Yeah.
And it even makes us think. Sounds like second nature to us, but it makes us think. Should practice what I preach, or how about this, or you'd probably do something. You know what I mean? Like, that's
it keeps you sharp, right?
Exactly.
It really does.
They just learn for some of the stuff we've done.
Yeah.
I mean, we've made enough mistakes, the three of us.
Yeah.
Right?
What mistakes? What are you talking about? Never.
Well, you went back to work, so I don't know. You're like the biggest mistake. I don't know what happened.
I'm listening to you and thinking you're gonna crash and burn, my friend, because
I am.
Plus, I have other shit to send your way, so I don't know what you're thinking.
I am so deep in it. It's
you caused this one.
I did, and it is
interesting.
It's
you wait till you hit 50. You wait till you hit 50, and then you're gonna go, oh crap.
Yeah.
No. I think this is my year of living dangerously, and then I'll figure it out after this. So I'll.
Whatever.
But it's I don't know if I don't miss it. Like, it's really complicated. Like, it's just, there are all these moving pieces, right? Like, I think when like when you're freelancing, you're working on stuff, right? Like, you can kind of, like, when you zero in on a task, you can get it done, you can kind of segment it into stages, and then you're off, right? But mine is like, right now, it's just, there's like 18 different people I got to talk to. I got to keep them all. It's like herding cats all the time, right? Like, and these are good people, right? Like, these are, I actually, like, the company is a really great place to work, right? So it's
well, that makes it easier. But I mean, I my biggest challenge is because I have so many clients. I haven't got a backup here. If I go away, they have to wait.
Oh.
And a lot of people don't want to wait, but it's unfortunate.
Welcome to the real world. Where are you going to go?
Well, I went on holiday for 2 weeks.
I understand, but where's everybody? Yeah, but the other people?
Oh,
they don't want to wait. Where are you going to go? It's not like there's a whole shitload of options in Vancouver. There's really not. There's people that can do stuff, but half of them I wouldn't trust.
No, but
seriously. So where are you going to go?
But the perspective is also that if you've got a trusted partner who's working on stuff for you, the face of the work is away for a couple of weeks, right? So Linda, you're away, but there's still stuff happening in the background. Like, it's definitely not like mixing it in your kitchen or your bathtub, right? Like, you can do it there, you can do it overnight because you can, right? But like, the point is, you're not supposed to.
My responsibility kind of stops as the PO comes in, and okay, you guys deal with all the logistics of it because I don't know what you do. That's your world. You don't know what I do. I don't know what you do. And just make the stuff and make it good and so that they're all happy. And then they come back and say, Linda, you did a great job. And they go, yay. Yeah. And then they bring Cardam donuts. Woohoo!
Yay!
Like seriously, what do you want, man? So what do you want?
We're actually now getting a few calls for clinical trial stuff, which is kind of cool.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah. So and it's funny. So this is one of the things we were trying to capitalize because they're coming out of the just really weird. Out of the we're doing one for it was for a clinical trial for a solution for cows, so for bovines, and somehow they found us, and then they did their stuff, and they had a successful trial, and then they started to go to humans. So now we're doing the human stuff for them. We're doing another product for a clinical trial for a dermatologist, and they're trialing it now in Miami. So it's really cool how all these really unique projects come up and didn't do a thing. And again, and it's funny, I remember many, like probably when you first started talking when you first started your podcast, you guys were talking about SEOs and like, what? What's an SEO? And I'm like, every time I'm writing it down and I'm in the car and trying to think, I got to write down because I'll forget by the time I get home.
We don't support that. Don't write anything down while you're in the car.
I sent Kenny a text and said, what's SEO? And he goes, what? I don't know. What's SEO? And he goes, well, search engine off. Oh, okay. See?
But that's you learn as you go. Yeah. And it's not something that you would necessarily have to worry about within your production world. But if you were having challenges getting clients, which you obviously don't have that challenge, stuff like that on your webpage, like it's really nice to hear and kind of bizarre to hear. It's, nobody's marketing, nobody's looking for business, but you're quadrupling the business.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you got some struggles, don't you?
But
I mean, seriously,
your SEO is good though, right? Because they're finding.
Well, apparently something's good.
Yeah, because they're finding you, right? So
exactly.
Yeah, they're finding us, and it's now. Once upon a time, we were struggling. We were, and that's just how it was going when I first got there, and I thought, what the hell? I didn't have much options because, unlike I don't have a university education, so when I got restructured from pharma science, which was fine, I had a year off. And I was okay because I was fortunate to have a proper, severance package. But that whole time I struggled, I feared, I panicked. I took contract work. I was calling on medical clinics, trying to sell some posters. I did what I could because I was panicking. I didn't have to. Yeah. And I kind of regret not taking that year to actually enjoy myself, but I was worried, and so I would do all kinds of contract work, and in the end it was fine. And then when I started doing contract work for ProLab, I got to the point where I was saying, geez, you guys, I'm charging you an awful lot of money. You might as well hire me because otherwise you're just going to go broke paying my contractor's fee.
Yeah.
And so they hired me and so forth and so on, and ta-da.
Now look at
5 years later.
5 years later, and you're dangerous.
Yeah. And now I actually know something. It's funny because like when you think about
knowledge, man. A little bit of knowledge.
Like I said, I went to BCIT and did I bring that knowledge forward with me? But I was very fortunate. I have always landed on my feet because I was referred to a job. Yeah. I got my job at Pharma Science literally. I think you remember Marlene Novak, my old boss, and she knew that I was struggling to find work at that time. Or where I was a horrible mistake where I was. And she said, talk to Jerry. And, so he flew me out to Montreal on the red eye. And then I had an interview at 9:00 in the morning. And then I was back on the noon flight to come back to Vancouver. And he didn't even say anything. He just basically said, like, I was nervous. I thought, oh God, what's this all about? And he said, don't worry, you got the job. Marlene says you're good, so you're hired. So, okay.
That's hilarious.
That was kind of cool. But every job I've had, I have been referred to by another person. And so it's always been by reputation. So this world, though, if I was unemployed right now, like you guys are talking about in the last podcast, I'd be hooped. I would be hooped. I would have to do contract work. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I would be hooped because no one is looking at a 55-year-old woman who didn't go to university 30 years ago.
They're not even looking at a 55-year-old woman who did go to university.
Yes.
Like if we're out of work, especially like Phil's not quite there. You just 53, and I've told Phil that's the bad age. You get to that age and you are at the prime of your work.
Yep.
You've got some experience, knowledge, but nobody wants you.
Yep. You're too high salary now.
Exactly.
You're too high maintenance.
You are stuck.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. So you either have to do you either have to stick with that job and pray to God you get to 57. Because now you're a different problem. Now we can't get rid of you.
Yeah.
But you got that 4-year run in there that you're praying every day, or you got to do something that we've all done and just try to do something else. But there's a lot of opportunity out there. And again, some of the things we tell, even like, especially the younger listeners, your reputation is critical.
Mm-hmm.
Do what you say you're going to do, follow through. And even on stuff like this, just learn to listen, like learn to glean things and reach out. These 3 people on this podcast right now that if you sent an email, 99% chance, unless we're doing really something else, you're going to get some help.
Yes.
Not 12 hours worth, but definitely a direction.
But we are dumb enough that if you called all 3 of us, we'd each give you an hour with a.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, so you're gonna get 3 hours of free
Without
consult
even
time
knowing
because
you,
we're not
right?
the
Like-
nicest people on the planet. So if you're smart, just do it in order.
Yeah,
Pick one, just go to the next, go to the next. You got 3 hours easy.
Yeah.
You save yourself
Start
a
with
shitload
the
of
2 dummies, finish with the smarty at the
smart one, exactly.
and then you're all good to go. So
we know where we're starting. So I'll be the first. Go to Phil, then go to Linda.
Yeah, it still boggles my mind, though. It really does, because when I think about the people I've met, I've been very fortunate. This is a great community of people when it comes to pharma, health and beauty, all that. Just because of all the buyers that you get to know, all the category managers, all the different people. When you go to the trade shows, like when I look at, that's what I miss. That's kind of the only thing I really miss is like going to the pharma shows and not selling crap. I don't care about that. Oh God, I haven't seen you since the last show or whatever. That to me is a wonderful community. Jason Bawa, for example, I can't remember how I first met him, but he was hawking chocolate back then.
Yeah, he's with Lind.
He was with Lind, and so he would keep coming over here. Linda has some more chocolate, but all right, and eventually he came to work at Pharma Science. Ply me with chocolate, donuts, you're good. But yeah, so it's great to be part of a community, and it's especially when you're working from home, it's even better, because otherwise you do feel isolated unless you can reach out to other people that that you used to work with or that are in the industry or whatever. And they're always resources. I have fingers everywhere, and so people will always say, okay, you must know somebody. It's like, oh yeah, I do. And you feel kind of silly after a certain point in time. It's like,
yeah,
you know that many.
I know a guy.
I got a guy.
I know I got a guy.
I got a guy. You know somebody? I got a guy.
I got a guy.
How many guys? I got lots of guys. What do you want?
I got a guy.
And it's really weird because there's some really weird connections somewhere along the line. I know, I got a glass guy. I got a guy that does windows, of course. I know people.
That's the game. But that's also that's how you have to play it, right?
Yeah. But like even the connection with Carol and Jim and Gail and all these kinds of
nice people.
They're all really nice people, and I've loved working with them throughout the years. And so it's easy for me to say, you know what, I think your personality is going to suit Carol better, or I think your personality is going to suit Phil better, or whatever. And it just that helps a lot because they know if I trust them, and I guess they trust me. If it's someone I say, if I was doing this, this is who I would go to.
Right.
And that's for me is huge. I don't recommend people lightly. If they screwed me over, forget it. You're not getting any kind of recommendation.
No, it's critical, right? Like, you need people you trust.
Mm-hmm.
It's not complicated, guys. We're definitely not brain surgeons, right? This is not rocket science. This is not a complicated life. It's just teaching people use your resources. And I know it sounds sort of it is used, but you don't have to make it into a negative connotation. That's what people are here for. If they're good people, what's the difference? Why wouldn't you want to help them?
Yep.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Like, well, what does it cost you? Again, it doesn't cost anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost anything to smile. It doesn't cost anything to say, you know what? I know somebody. Talk to Phil on this one. This is this is up his alley. Why not?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely. Yeah. It's funny, like when you think about the people I do reach out to tend to all be our age range.
Yep.
And you often wonder what's going to happen down the road when the millennials and so forth, like I find possibly there's a lack of communication abilities with them. Where I know most of my stuff is all done. I've got clients I've never met, never talked to on the phone.
It's weird though.
But they're like, $200,000 a year customers, and it's like, you have no desire to pick up the phone, and they're never there because it's a different time zone, and so.
Yeah. But if it works, I guess it works. It just, to me, it's weird too. Like I can't work for somebody that I haven't like shaken a hand with.
Yeah.
I get off, and it's stupid, right? But I like to know who you are, man. I don't know. I mean,
well, that's a European.
I like the contact. I like the contact.
Yeah.
That is a European thing.
I guess so.
These particular clients are Americans, and they're just saying, can you make this? It was that one of those really quick ones. We have a formula. Can you make this? Yeah. Can you make this many? Yeah. Here's the formula. Can you make it? We sent them a sample. Okay. Here's the order. It was boom, 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 just like that. Wow.
Which is nice. That's good business.
That's
it's
good
very
business.
nice, especially in the U.S. dollars. It's great for us.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe you want to have a coffee?
I think they're in Minnesota.
I have.
Oh no, you want? That's the person coming here.
I definitely have. I think I have. I have a Minnesota client, or I've had, and then I have one in Georgia somewhere, and then there's one in Dakota that I'm pretty sure I'm never going to see ever. I don't even know which Dakota.
One of the Dakotas.
One of the Dakotas, like it's kind of like going to Edmonton, I think. So
yeah, I mean, who the hell knew? I'd never been to Edmonton practically in my life until this last 8 months.
Yeah.
Really?
Now, seriously, when would I come to Edmonton?
I know. Yeah, I used to go there all the time. That's why.
We passed through. We did a store tour here 1 year with London. I don't know, maybe 15, 16 years ago. And I think the second time I had been to Edmonton was last April for the show. That's it.
Wow.
Before I know it, I'm now a regular member of the Edmonton airport.
I used to go there.
I'm going to get to know security pretty soon. Hey, how's it going, man?
Yeah, I used to hit when I was a sales manager. I hit Edmonton, Calgary, Winnipeg, Saskatoon, and what I used to do in Winnipeg and Saskatoon, I used to make the sales reps drive me out to horrible places, because I'd never been to small town before, ever. Yeah. And that's the coolest thing. It's some place called Oxbow. Who heard of that? And it's like they got the pharmacy that's come post office, come liquor store, come merchandise, and that's all you had.
Yeah.
But
amazing.
Yeah, that I do miss. I don't miss traveling so much, but because I traveled an awful lot back then. But now I'll just do CHFA and maybe the Anaheim show and
yeah.
So
are you doing CHFA?
Yeah, I'll be there Saturday, and I'll do the one in Toronto. I'm just walking. I don't need no booth. They just go, "Hey, it's Linda."
That's what you want, though. Are you doing expo as well?
No,
you're not going to go down there.
I don't need to, because honestly, I'll break the company if I bring more business in.
Yeah. Well, I don't need to go there either. I just like going.
Mm-hmm.
I do too, but I'm going to Palm Springs in a couple weeks, and that's enough.
Woohoo!
Well, that'll be
the day off.
Woohoo! That's a way better place.
Let all your clients know right now. I'm not going to be home.
Palm Springs.
Out for the day or a week or two.
We should do this podcast from Palm Springs.
That's a good idea.
Poolside.
That's a good idea.
Poolside. I get my big old iPad out and just sit there and go, "Hey, everybody."
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm all over that one.
I like it.
Julio can bring me a Mai Tai and
absolutely, man. I'm all over that one.
Oh man.
It's all good. All good in the hood, boys and girls.
Well, podcast audience, this is Linda Webb.
So you finally met Linda
show.
Webb.
You finally met her.
The owner of the show has finally showed up for an interview.
She's shown up. Do you want to give people your, I don't know, do you want to give them your contact information, like ProLabs
Sure. I mean, you can always check out the website at prolabhealth.com. It's PROLAB, not prolab with an S, because that's like prolapse, and that's not a good thing. It is Linda Webb. What's my email address is lwebb, WEBB, at prolabhealth.com. You can always call me. My cell number, sadly, is on the website, so people are free to call me whenever. I may not answer. But it's just
Don't
because
call her whenever. Call her during business hours, people.
I'm on the
reach out to her
phone.
here via her own podcast.
Yeah, you could.
Bill and I just are here every week doing this podcast, so you're more
We'll manage all it. We'll filter all our emails. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
Dummy 1 and Dummy 2 will take care of all your needs and just take care of it for Linda. Thing
great.
1 and thing 2.
I got an assistant now.
2 of them. Well,
It's
for
not
about
a
as good
bad
as
way.
one.
You know, we might filter out all the guys, right? So you might,
Scare 'em
instead
away.
of the 25, you know, it might come back down. You might just
Exactly.
get the 4 or 5 that might make the
Exactly.
cut, you know?
We're just going to scare them all away because they're going to be thinking, wow, that's the caliber.
I feel bad because, you know, I didn't realize it's like 10 to 9. I've been primarily talking for the last 50 minutes.
It's your show.
Did you guys want to say anything?
No, it's your show.
No, we love it. I mean, this is why we wanted you on, because I think that what you've been talking about is super relevant. I mean, you know, Kenny and I talk through, you know, we talk through digital, we talk through everything else, but I think the perspective of just what you've got to do to make sure that you're checking to make sure that the product is good, that you've got the right concept, and you're kind of got all the right fundamentals is a really big deal, right? So
This is critical
glad.
for small business. This is
Yeah.
critical. They don't understand. You saw the other day, Lynn, we had the interview, you know, you had the interview, and this is a person who's in manufacturing.
Mhm.
This is a person who knows certain things, but the industry they're in doesn't have to worry about stability for a lot of things, et cetera. So
Yeah.
really and truly, the mindset of that individual was 6 months.
Yeah.
When we told him, because I knew the number too, because I've done this long enough. I mean, I don't know to your detail, obviously, but I'm thinking, oh no, it's a year, man.
Yeah.
Like October 2020. Yeah, no problem. You can have it done by then. Remember? He's like, what do you mean? I said, well, October this year? No, not going to happen.
No.
You don't even have a name.
You're crazy, man.
Yeah, you don't have a name. You got nothing. And it's like building a home. What people don't understand. Once you go to you, if you're going to take the deal and you can do the formula and you're going to start stability, you start packaging now. You start everything right now, because it's like building a home. You don't phone the drywaller when the studs are all in.
Mhm.
You phone the drywaller when you're pouring the cement for the foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once the framing's done, you've already have them booked.
Yeah.
A month ahead. That's how you do things. You got to get ahead if you want to launch in that year.
Yeah.
Because you're packaging, when Linda says, yeah, we're done stability, that's 6 months in. If you haven't started, you are now 15 months out.
Yep.
And if you haven't done packaging, you're probably now 17 months out.
Yep.
It's not a big deal.
No,
But
it's not time.
Put it, but in time, 17 months,
Yeah.
6 new products could have hit the shelves.
Yeah.
But that's critical too, though. Sorry, I don't mean to drag on your podcast here, but it's so critical because this is why it always boggles my mind. People who actually have products and they're selling it don't know the cost of goods.
Oh my God, Phil and I have had enough of those. Oh, Jesus.
Well, it boggles my mind, especially and if you make it at home and then you come to me and expect me to make it, that's fine, I'll do it. Keep in mind, I've got a team of QC specialists, QA specialists, production specialists, packaging specialists, all these people, plus all the documentation Health Canada makes me do. So there's that. You got to remember, you were paying yourself, I can guarantee you that, and you weren't taking into consideration
anything
the electricity else. And
Nothing.
All the other stuff. Do a business plan. That is key. People seem to think that doesn't mean anything anymore. In business plan, I'm not talking about the whole big deck of business plans. I'm talking about your strategy, what you're what you're selling, who you're selling it to, why you're selling it, where and so forth. And that's kind of the key things. And those are the kind of stuff I actually push off on to Kenny, for people to help people with the numbers and stuff so that they understand cost of goods and business planning and what happens when you call on someone like Kenny, who gets rude and mean and tells you take your vitamins.
Well, I definitely said that, but I don't think I was rude. I definitely told people to pound sand, but in a nice way.
Yeah.
And it was for the same reasons. Do your research.
Yeah.
Do your research. It's your job, not mine. I'm just, I just lease space.
Yeah.
Right. Highest bidder got the shelf. That's
Yeah.
all I did. Right.
Yeah.
I don't care who takes the shelf. Right. But you need to understand that portion of the game. And, a lot of people you said, we've gone through that. And that's why we've got one of our friends who's stuck.
Mm-hmm.
You know why he's stuck? He's stuck because he didn't listen. Didn't listen to you. Didn't listen to me. Right. And he's a super nice person. Like, love the guy, but got to learn to listen, man. I mean, especially when there was no gain in it for the two of us, in a sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't win on a failure. I want you to hammer it.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit if I make a penny or not. What the hell do I care?
Well, and that's the grand thing. I don't make commission. I do this, and I always say this. Like I'm very lucky. Every job I've had, I've never taken it because I need to have the money. Not that I have money coming out of my.
I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I work where I'm happy to work.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And that makes a big difference, because when I started this job, I had a huge salary cut. But I saw vision, and I saw something that was going to be good and something that's going to be interesting and fun that I could learn from. And that's exactly what happened. I was lucky I took the gamble. It doesn't always work out that way, but, it makes a big difference. You have to listen to people, as Kenny says, and it just huge sense to have your wits about you and listen. We do know what we're talking about.
Well, one of them anyway. The other two just basically take the script of the queen boss sends us, and we just go with it.
Yes. Oh man.
As long as you do my bidding, that's all that matters. That's
Yes, ma'am.
How much more can we possibly do? My God, you own the freaking show. Okay, I was getting to the point.
I don't know. I would ask him for
Linda
more
Webb.
biscotti. I would hold out for more biscotti.
Oh, that's got to talk to mom,
Yeah.
right?
We got to figure out how to cut the middleman out, Linda.
I got a fresh batch.
Between you and me, we got to cut the middleman out. How do we get to Mama Venucci without
I give you
Kenny?
the phone number.
So,
Because she's mad at me for sharing the last batch anyway.
oh,
But it was good.
Yours because she didn't like the recipe. Linda's because they were too old. I got a new batch at home. I don't know if I'm allowed to share those either. Probably too
stale cookie anyways. What is it?
Listen, you got to talk to my mom, okay? There's only so much we can do here. Okay, I have no control in most parts of my life. That one does another one. Whatever.
All
I just
right.
take pictures of empty tins.
This is the end of the show. Thank you for being on the podcast.
I'm so happy we finally got her on.
We are really happy. We're so glad that you came on the show.
I'm so happy to be here. So next, by all means, I'm happy to join again if you really think I have anything else to say.
Yeah.
Or tell us if you think of things that we want to talk about.
Definitely let us know.
A couple cool things where you could see there's some. It's all learnings. All I want to do is just learnings.
Yeah.
If we can teach somebody something and save somebody some money or a failure, then I think we're obligated to do it.
Yep.
To be very honest with you. So I think at that point, if you see some examples that are really cool, let's do it. I'd like to have Patrice on.
Yeah.
You know why? Because I would like to have someone who's walked through it and sort of goes through what she went through. And she's successful right now.
And the adjustments that she had to make along the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She's a really good case. She's a good case study. A very good.
Absolutely. Because this is a person who really has no clue of the industry that she's participating in to some degree. And yet she's super bright.
Yeah.
But she's also smart enough to know that she's bringing in people to help.
Yeah.
Not rocket science, but you got to learn that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, all good on the hood.
Love it. All right.
Hey, boys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Linda. Appreciate it.
Okay, take care.
Have a great night.
Good night.
Okay.
Good night.
Bye.
All right, that's the end of this Commerce Life. We'll be back soon with the next episode. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it. Give us feedback. Tell us what you think. Subscribe, like us, join us, share us, tell your friends about us. And we hope to see you next time with more commerce news.